ones are staying cool and hydrated. I know it's pretty hot here in Las Vegas, and we've got folks all over doing work as fellows. So I hope you all are staying safe and cool as well. The purpose of the event today is to make sure that we stay connected and to introduce you to the Horsford Fellows. I'm really grateful to work with such a bright and passionate group of leaders through a program called Democracy Summer. And this is a program that was started by my good friend and colleague, Representative Jamie Raskin, and it helps to give young people the opportunity to get involved in public service. So congratulations to all of you for being a part of this Democracy Summer. And I really look forward to the conversation we're going to have today. In this program, fellows learn from prominent leaders in politics and community organizing. And it's an opportunity that, again, I'm really honored to be a part of based on the work that Representative Jamie Raskin created some years ago. So we owe him all a great debt of gratitude for his vision and leadership in launching this program. I'd like to give all of you congratulations and a big welcome to Team Horsford, and I'm excited to have this discussion with all of you today. So please go around and share your name, school, and your current standing and why you joined Democracy Summer 2021. And then we're going to get right into today's conversation. So why don't we start? I guess, Donovan, you're in my screen. So I'll go from Donovan, John, Sarah, Ethan, and we'll go from there.
Well, again, my name is Donovan, and I will be a senior at Arborview High School. And the reason why I joined Democracy Summer is to learn more about the gerrymandering and just basically just learn more about getting voting rights.
Awesome. We're glad to have you, Donovan. What year are you at Arborview?
Oh, I'll be a senior this year.
Awesome. John?
Well, good afternoon, Congressman. Thank you for being on to talk with us, first and foremost. My name is John Cook. I'm an incoming freshman at Harvard University, and I'm born and raised here in North Las Vegas.
All right. What school did you go to here in Vegas?
I went to Rancho. I just graduated.
Congratulations. And you are a freshman at Harvard. What are you studying?
I'm going to be studying government, and I'm going to plan on going to law school after I finish my undergrad.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's a great achievement.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm going to be junior at Ed W. Clark High School, which I believe you also went there.
Go Chargers.
Yes, go Chargers. And I joined Democracy Summer to get more insight on public policy and to pursue more of an interest in political science.
Awesome. We're glad to have you, Sarah. Ethan?
Hi, Congressman. Thank you for inviting us and hosting this event. My name's Ethan. I go to the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. I'll be going into my third year studying nuclear engineering and mathematics, but I am born and raised in North Las Vegas, and I also went to Rancho High School, so go Rams.
Go Rams. Congratulations on your studies at University of New Mexico as well.
Thank you very much.
Right, next, I think we have Asaf. Is it Asaf?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for doing this. My name is Asaf. I'm from New York City. I'm going to be a senior in high school next year. And the reason I joined Democracy Summer was because I wanted to get more involved in the political process and learn from the best. And so this has given me the opportunity to do that, and I'm grateful for that.
Great. We're glad to have you.
Hi, Congressman. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Varun Popley. I am going into my senior year at Junipero Serra High School out in San Mateo, California. So I'm actually an out-of-state fellow, but really happy to be making a difference in the lives of Nevada's 4th District and constituents there. I joined Democracy Summer because I've always had this interest in politics, and I wanted to further that interest by making a difference on a political campaign and get involved in community organizing.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have your interest and passion on those areas, and this is a great program for you to get involved and make a difference. So thank you.
Hi, Congressman. First of all, again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to talk with us today. My name is William Reed. Like Varun, I'm also from California. I just graduated from Cerritos High School, and I'll be a freshman at UC Berkeley in the fall. And I joined Democracy Summer because after I saw that the overall summer was going to have a theme surrounding voting rights, I find that very interesting because especially after the 2020 election, as we all know, there has been a lot of different things going about trying to suppress voting rights of a whole bunch of different minority groups. And that is an issue that's very important to me. And I wanted to get involved in any way that I could to try and just help and stop that from happening.
Wonderful. A lot of activism since 2020 for sure. So we still have a lot of things to do to rebuild our democracy and help restore public confidence in our institutions and to protect every community in the process. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aiden Western. I am from Henderson, Nevada. I just graduated from Liberty High School, and I'll be going to UCLA in the fall to study public affairs. I got involved in Democracy Summer mainly because I really wanted to have the hands-on experience in grassroots organizing and also learn about progressive policies and help advance those. And I'm very excited to be here.
Congratulations on your studies at UCLA and graduating from Liberty as well.
Thank you.
Abigail?
Oh, yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Congressman, for being here today. It's an honor to talk with you and everyone. My name is Abigail Head. I am going to be a senior at Basic Academy of International Studies this year. And I joined Democracy Summer because I want to become more politically involved because before this, I was not into politics. I didn't know anything about politics, but joining, I have learned a lot, and I want to further my knowledge in politics and the government and what's happening around us.
Wonderful. Those are great aims. All right, did we cover everyone? All right. Well, this is a completely open format, so jump in at any point. And thank you all for introducing yourselves and talking about your passion and your interest in being involved in Democracy Summer. And as I said, this is an open dialogue, so please feel welcome to share some information. I also wanted to just announce, as everyone knows, today is a pretty important and special day because today is the day that the child tax credit begins to get paid out to about 177,000 children and families in my district alone. And this is a real great opportunity to help lift children out of poverty and help middle-class families with the tax cut that they need to cover essential services. So protecting families and lifting children out of poverty is something that I'm truly passionate about. And it's a really important provision that was passed in the American Rescue Plan that President Biden proposed and that we voted on as Democrats. Unfortunately, not one Republican joined us to provide this relief to middle-class families and to children, but we got it done nonetheless, and it's part of what's actually happening today. So we're really excited about that news and want to encourage people to be on the lookout for those payments that are in the mail or in your bank account, depending on the information that the IRS has. So I want to get to know our fellows a little bit more. So I have a couple of questions for our fireside chat this evening. So the first question is, what is it that makes you passionate about public service? What drives you to be involved in wanting to make a difference in your community and to help other people? Anyone can jump in and answer the question.
I guess I'll kick this one off. So in order to truly explicate what got me into public service in the first place, I'd like to talk about a picture I saw a very long time ago. It's of President Obama and a young child in front of the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. And President Obama is bent over and the child is feeling, it's a young black kid and he's feeling on his hair. And the caption on the picture is "hair like mine." And that really resonated with me, being as a black kid and watching President Obama get elected. I have a really foggy memory of that since I was only 5, but still it was very inspiring to me. And seeing what he did throughout his first term, trying to forward the Affordable Care Act, which changed the lives of so many families, including my family and people close to my family, through vast amounts of backlash from Republicans and people who thought that that wasn't the right direction for the country to go. President Obama remained valiant. He remained steadfast in putting together the change that he wanted to see for people in this country. And that truly motivated me to get involved in public service. And I know that it's very hard for young people to truly grasp what's going on in public service, because all we see is gridlock. You know, all we see is this 50-50 Senate going back and forth at each other without true constructive change. But if we show our young people that change is possible and change has been achieved throughout our political processes, it will be a huge stepping stone in getting more young people involved.
Thank you, John. And I know that picture well. You know, it does symbolize a lot, obviously, as the first Black president of the United States, but also, you know, what it means to young people, not only to that little boy, but what it represents to all children and the world, in fact, to have, you know, the most powerful person in the world, the president of the United States, be a person of color, and to have a young boy like that, to have the opportunity to go to the Oval Office and to meet the president and to feel his hair and to know it's just like mine and I can be anything that I want to be when I work hard and get an education and do the things that are necessary to, you know, rise to that position or to any other position. So thank you for those comments. Anyone else, as far as your passion and interest around public service?
Yes, it can go next. So I'm passionate about public service because of the opportunities to basically help the community and to make tangible change. It is very rewarding to see and beneficial to the community as well. But I initially became involved in politics. Since my freshman year, I've been very involved in debate where I had to research a lot of current events and to develop a stance. And actually, one of our topics was on child tax credits, and I formulated an opinion through that and had opinions on politics. And that led me to creating a club, High School Democrats Club at my school at Clark. And then it burgeoned into me becoming now state chair for Nevada High School Democrats. And I have done a lot of work for other Democratic parties, and that has really inspired me to become more involved.
That's awesome. So you've now turned your passion into advocacy, and you've helped start and create space for other people to get involved, which is a great way to show your passion for public service. Sarah, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, maybe I'll also chime in here. But personally, I've had a big interest in environmental issues for a while. Growing up in California, as I'm sure many people who live out in Nevada can relate to, you know, we've experienced wildfires, droughts, floods, mudslides, and other forms of extreme weather that are exacerbated by climate change. And we've seen lots of talk and some action on it, but I knew that this is an area that I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to contribute to. So I started getting involved in my community with local clubs and organizations and conferences. And then kind of leading up to the 2020 election, I saw an opportunity to get involved in a more political sense, volunteering on a couple campaigns, like Joe Biden's campaign and John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock's Senate campaigns. And I really appreciated, communicating with voters and kind of talking to them about policy, not just environmental policy, but also economic and healthcare policy. And now I feel incredibly lucky to further that interest in organizing by helping out everyone at, your representative, your campaign here at Stephen Horsford for Congress. And now that I am transitioning to hopefully going to college in the next couple years, I'm hoping to make this, this kind of intersection between environmental issues and politics be my future, both in college and beyond. But yeah.
So you took an issue that you cared a lot about, which is the environment and environmental justice, and as you said, used your advocacy both from the volunteering on a campaign and helping the senators and the president, and now that's going to turn into the policy that you want to see enacted. I'm sure you're following the Clean Energy Act that President Biden has proposed. I'm a sponsor of that legislation, and obviously he is committed to creating zero carbon emissions and getting us to use more renewable energy and to become less reliant on fossil fuels so that we can address the environment and the climate crisis, which is a huge threat to all of our futures and particularly your generation. So, your advocacy on that issue and then getting involved in politics is also affecting the actual policy outcomes that you want to see in the long term. That's great. Thank you.
To add on to this conversation, I believe my passion in public service comes from the idea that good governance is so critical to the health of our democracy. I think that if we see all these issues around us in our country, the government just can't stand back idly and wait for, last minute changes to maybe see if they can fix it. I think if we look at, the infrastructure, we have buildings and bridges collapsing, and we need an infrastructure bill to fix these things, to make these things not happen. I look up to politicians like Representative Stephen Horsford that, sit on the House Ways and Means Committee and sit in the government process and actually get things done. So I'm passionate about public service when we're able to get things done through the government.
Well, thank you, Ethan. And we do have a lot of things that we need to address, and infrastructure is among those issues. And as you said, the sad situation in Florida and Surfside with the number of lives that were lost because of the environmental issues and the building infrastructure, obviously the bridges. And we have examples of that sadly all across our country with our schools, the lack of broadband, the need for better roads and bridges, and to help get people out of their cars and into electric vehicles and transit and other things that will actually also improve the environment. So these things, again, kind of go hand in hand. And one of the things is I also believe that we have to balance physical infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, and our water systems with human infrastructure, which is, people, and making sure that we're investing in people through skills training, workforce development, education, obviously making college more affordable, and making sure that we have investment in our what we call the care economy. And that's another element that President Biden and Democrats in Congress are very focused on with the American Families Act as well, which is to invest in people through paid leave, through childcare, through, again, investment in workforce development, and making sure that people who work hard are able to retire with a sense of dignity. So those are all the issues. So when I talk about infrastructure, I'm talking about all elements of infrastructure, including human infrastructure. So thank you very much for raising those points. All right, another question we have for tonight is if any of you could talk about any of the unique challenges that you currently face in high school or that you are facing as you enter or in college. Some of you are been in college for several years, just so that folks who are watching us or who are part of this conversation, I'd love to hear more about things that you've had to confront, how you've confronted that, and ways that we as elected officials should be helping to address those unique challenges that you face in education, either in high school or college.
Yeah, I think in terms of education, I've really seen, I went to Liberty High School for 4 years, amazing school. I love everyone there, so go Patriots. But we saw, just in the 4 years that I was there, we saw about 600 or 700 additional students come in. And the school didn't change at all. So if we're even talking about infrastructure, right? Like the school itself was the same size for 2,600 students and then 3,300 students. We had a few more teachers, maybe an extra portable. But I would say the biggest issue that I faced in high school was really under resourcing and overcrowding. We had a lot of students that were fit into this one little building, but they didn't really get the experience that a lot of other students had because our school was so big. And so I think it's really important for campaigns like this, but also just any outside entity to really provide more resources, more opportunities for students, because a lot of times their schools are doing the best they can, but they just can't keep up because there's so many kids, not enough things for these kids to really partake in. And civic engagement is so important. But if you can't even get teachers to fill the classrooms, how are you expected to really get students engaged outside in different programs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a big part of learning is that all-around experience. I'm a product of the Clark County School District and graduated, as Sarah said, from Clark High School, and I was very active in high school activities because that was my kind of that was my outlet. That's how I dealt with some of the challenges that I faced growing up. But for those civic engagement opportunities, speech and debate, and student government, and athletics, track and field, as well as cross country, I don't know that I would have been able to pursue my education at the college level, which then turned into being involved in public service through an internship. So it really is important what we do for young people in K through 12, and we've got to start younger. We can't wait until people are ready to graduate. We need to really create these opportunities earlier in your educational experiences. And I know that last year in particular with COVID was very difficult for all of you, and having to do learning online and not being in person with your cohort of peers, and some didn't have the same experience, particularly in your senior year activities. I have 3 kids, and each one of them faced different obstacles with their education over the past year. So that's why we really got to be intentional about how we are providing the support to students, to your family members, to parents, and to teachers, because it's been hard on everybody, and we want you all to be successful, but we're trying to figure out what to do at the same time that you all need the support at the same time. So thank you for sharing that. Other folks want to share any challenges in high school or college?
I'll go. So after moving from Missouri and attending an all-white school, to moving to Vegas and attending the most diverse school I've been to, it was definitely a culture shock. And just when I started to make friends, the pandemic hit, and being in quarantine has made it challenging to make the connections and opportunities needed to be prepared for college.
Thank you, Donovan. Thank you very much. And that diversity of experience is very important, and definitely want that exposure, and as you move into life and college and career and interacting with different people, it's definitely important to have that diversity of experience. Anyone else?
Sure. I just wanted to go off of Aiden's point really quickly about school modernization. So our generation is so uniquely positioned where we have the technology to talk to anyone all over the world instantaneously, like the internet, whatever. We're born into this technology. I'm going to poke fun of my mom for a little bit. She was just off screen, like out there for 15 minutes trying to get onto the live stream. So obviously it's like a generational gap, but we are so adept to this technology. And so for the last 3 years in school, you're telling me that we have all this technology, but I'm still here copying notes out of a textbook, out of a 1950s textbook to be exact. So I think that schools really need to get with the times, and the pandemic really exposed that. You would think that a school transitioning from physical to online would make things easier for teachers to find new content, but it actually did the opposite. And so I believe the pandemic was a real eye-opener for how we need to modernize our schools. And I believe that the Title I funding that a lot of schools have received throughout the district is really helping with that. I know in my government and my AP US history class, my teacher would always have us on the Chromebooks, always looking up current events, always watching very interactive videos that really drew the students into what subject they were learning. So I think if that can be continued throughout all schools and all classes and all subjects, I think that it will increase school performance, and I think it will increase retention and attendance as students get older and into the more complicated classes.
Thanks, John. And you're right about the generational gap. I was having some challenges getting on this Zoom, actually, where I think we're on StreamYard, which is a platform I don't use all the time, and I couldn't get my camera to work, and I had to have some help. So it's not just your mom, it's all of us, but you as young people are able to use technology as an asset, whereas some people it's a barrier still, and that's part of why we need investment in skills training, particularly for technology. Many educators, you used examples of educators who use technology in a good way, and that's the model that we want to see. Unfortunately, not all of our educators have that same training, and sadly, not all of our schools have the proper equipment. So one of the things President Biden and the Democrats voted on with the American Rescue Plan is more funding for our schools to address the learning loss, to address the inequities in education, particularly for those students of color and students in rural communities that were disproportionately impacted during COVID. And here in Clark County, the Clark County School District is receiving approximately $750 million from the American Rescue Plan to invest more money into these types of efforts. And so I want to really encourage all of you, your parents, and other community members to make sure that you give your input into the Clark County School District on how you think those dollars should be spent going forward. They have a community input process that's going on right now, and all of you should make sure that you share your experience, good, bad, and otherwise, so that that can help shape the process going forward, because there are lessons to be learned, and we definitely want to use some of the resources from the American Rescue Plan to address some of these challenges. So thank you for that. Anyone else on the question about challenges in high school? Sarah?
Yes. So I obviously go to Clark, and it is a Title I school. I attend their magnet program, AMSAT, Academy of Math and Science, but the school is overall a Title I school, and I had the great privilege of being exposed to many cultures, and it is a very diverse school. I think a few years ago there was a bit of a disagreement with our principal and the magnet students, and it was on the news and all that. And I feel like that brings up a very important issue, that there is a divide between the magnet students and other students in prioritization. And I feel that there does need to be more investment into maybe lower income neighborhoods and education, but also just as a person of color, anyone as a person of color, there are challenges in high school and just in society itself.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And yeah, I know you're right. I had an opportunity to go to speak to the class of the junior ROTC at Clark just a few weeks ago, and they shared some of the same experiences. And so in the legislation that was passed in the American Rescue Plan, we included language that actually said that the funding should go to schools like Title I schools based on need, and that those students who are disproportionately affected should be prioritized as far as how the dollars get spent. So again, any ideas or suggestions that you all have about that process, definitely share them with me and I'll make sure to pass them on, but you also can directly input that through the Clark County School District website and their community input process. So this is a really timely topic because these are resources that are now available because we passed the American Rescue Plan. That was the most historic bill, as far as it was the biggest relief package ever passed by the U.S. House of Representatives. It was $1.9 trillion. Obviously, the pandemic was the most, it was the most unprecedented thing that we've experienced in our generation, and the recession that occurred as a result also is unprecedented. So we needed to make sure that Congress responded in a way that really met the moment of what you all as young people and your parents and community are facing right now, because we want things to get better. Obviously, we want to crush this virus, get you all back into your classrooms, both in high school and in college, and to make sure that we're creating a brighter future in the economy, in the climate crisis, through voting rights, addressing inequities for women and people of color, and based on income, because that's another area where we've seen a huge divide. So finally, I'm going to go to the final question, which is, what would you tell your peers about being politically engaged, getting involved in the process, and joining Democracy Summer 2021 now that you've been a part of this process for the last few weeks?
I can start here. I think our generation is pretty engaged. I've heard it said that there are two ways that a president can inspire a generation, either by showing America how good we can be and showing how dark America can get. And I think, given the presidents we've had in our lifetimes, we've had both of those. So I think our generation is pretty engaged, and I think Democracy Summer is a great way to channel the energy of this generation and the ideas of this generation, because not only do we learn the practical side of campaigns and the way campaigns operate, we also learn about the history of our democracy, both the good and the bad. And I think that knowing our history is an important way of making sure that we can preserve our democracy, especially now when voting rights, the most fundamental rights in our democracy, are under attack in states all across the country. And this is a very good way, I think, to do something about it, and for the future, as well as just with this upcoming cycle.
That's right. I completely agree. And I agree that young people are active, you are engaged, and you do care. I agree sometimes the perception is not reality, and you all are a perfect example of the engagement in our civic process, our democracy, and trying to make our communities better and stronger. So thank you for doing everything you do.
I think if maybe I could add as
anyone else?
just to add on top of what Asaf said, I think that for anyone who's worried or maybe they don't want to get involved in politics because they're worried that it's not for them or that maybe it's a little too toxic right now, I think just do it, right? Change comes from when you yourself make it, when you make change. And I think that there's no better time than now, right? Because if you push it off till later, you can keep pushing things off. But I think the best time to get involved is now. Educate yourself, and you can take it in steps, right? You can start small by maybe just reading the news every day and talking about stuff with your friends or family. And then maybe you can take it from there to calling your local congressman or senator. And then maybe the next step can be even getting involved on a campaign or as an intern in a congressional or senatorial office. But it's really rewarding and it makes you feel empowered. So I would highly recommend it to anyone. And Democracy Summer is a great way to get your start on that.
Right. You guys, you have the profile and you guys can literally sell the program based on your remarks here today. And I completely agree. There's no time but the right time. And that time is now to get involved. And however people choose to get involved, there's opportunities available. And Democracy Summer is one that I'm really proud to be involved with all of you as our fellows. So thank you. Anyone else?
Hi.
Go ahead, Abigail.
I'll go real quick. I just wanted to say that joining Democracy Summer has opened up a bunch of opportunities for me to learn more about democracy and to meet new people who have the same passions and goals as I do. It has allowed us fellows to express new ideas and opinions to others who share the same interests. I personally have learned so much being a part of the program, and I'm more engaged with what is going on around me in politics. And I plan to take what I've learned from this experience and apply it to my further exploration into the Democratic Party and politics. And I feel like this program has been really beneficial to me and probably everybody else in the program. And I feel like if you have the chance to join it next year, that you totally should, because it's really eye-opening and you learn a lot and you finally feel like you have a voice because you have so many people to express your ideas and feelings to. And you get to talk to you, Stephen Horsford, and been having this experience to chat with everybody and have this live stream has been really good because we get our opinions out and we get what we want to speak to you, and those can change our community. And I feel like it's really beneficial and a great experience.
You definitely have a stake. You all are constituents and you matter. We do get to have these conversations, and obviously what you share helps inform me. I know you've met with other leaders, Commissioner McCurdy and others that you've been able to talk with, including people who work on our campaign staff and who work in different capacities. So I'm really glad to hear that it's been a positive experience, and obviously we're going to continue to make it better in the future as well. So we really are excited to have each and every one of you participate. So any concluding thoughts? I know we have to wrap up here in just a few minutes.
Yes, I just wanted to say, as Nevada High School Democrats chair, it's very, I guess, easy in a way. If you have any clubs at your school, it's great to get involved. Also, there are organizations, like if you're in college, Young Democrats, and I believe that most states do have that. So if you really want to get more involved, I would recommend joining those organizations. But also just locally, you can individually write letters to your legislatures or politicians about issues that you feel strongly. And I encourage all youth to become involved since their voices are very important.
Anyone else?
Just one more thing, if I may. The largest voting block of people right now are people ages 45 and older. So people way older than us. And how ironic is it that the people who are very old are making the decisions that are going to shape our future? So if we really want to make a difference, it needs to be the 18 to 25, the 25s, the 30s. The younger people need to step up and get out there and vote. so that the voice of the older people doesn't control what we want to do and what we want our future to look like. And just a little bit of word on Democracy Summer itself. This program has been outstanding. I feel like there's this notion among most people that elected officials and congressmen are kind of untouchable. They're kind of just out there. You can't really connect with them. And just in the past few days, I've spoken to you, I've spoken to Jamie Raskin, and I've spoken to the majority leader of the House of Representatives, which is kind of crazy to think about. So anything is possible, especially in this program. And if you really put what you want into it, you'll get what you want out of it. So I think everyone should be encouraged to join next year.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This has been a phenomenal fireside chat with our Horsford Fellows who are part of the summer Democracy Summer 2021 program. It's really been delightful to talk with all of you, to hear your thoughts, and it really does bring me a lot of joy to know that you are so passionate about your future, our community, the world, and how you can make a difference in it. So if anyone who is watching is thinking about getting more involved in the process, you should continue taking up opportunities like Democracy Summer. We definitely would encourage you to apply for next year's program. It's a great chance for young people to get some skin in the game, as they say, as it relates to politics and community organizing. You will benefit, but you also will help share a lot about how things should be done in order to reach younger people and to make sure that the issues that you all care about are a big part of the agenda going forward. So I want to again thank my colleague and friend, Representative Jamie Raskin, who created this opportunity to give high school and college students firsthand experience in community organizing. This is part of where I learned about public service was through my first internship. So I value these opportunities myself. And I'm really honored now to be able to offer this part of the program through my congressional campaign, Nevadans for Stephen Horsford. It really is a once in a lifetime experience. So to our viewers, thank you all for joining us today. And if anyone is interested in opportunities like these, please follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'm also on YouTube. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay cool until next time. And make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you get out there and get vaccinated. We got to crush this virus. And now that all young people over 12 years of age are able to get the vaccine, we want to make sure that everyone knows it's important to do it. It's effective. It protects yourself, it protects your family, it protects our community, and it allows us to get back to normal so that everyone can experience the same thing. So thank you all for joining me today for the Fireside Chat, and thank you to all of our fellows for all of your great work and for sharing your experiences with us today. Have a good day, everybody.